Hey, I'm Ben and welcome back to Tool Tip Tuesday, a quick weekly segment where I share tips and tricks in the shop that will hopefully help you out this week. This week I'm going to show you how to get incredibly thin and consistent rips on your MFT3. Stick around. As anyone knows that's watched my channel before, I do not own a table saw. I also don't own a planer or a joiner, so that makes dimensioning lumber sometimes a challenge for me. However, using my MFT3, I'm able to work around some of those restrictions, especially when it comes to making laminated pieces. So I'm currently making a small desk for my daughter. We've had to go to virtual learning, and so she never goes to school, so she needs a desk in her room because she keeps trying to use the one in my room. I'm taking some scrap pine, construction pine that I have around. Again, it's a kid's desk. It doesn't need to be this ornate luxury furniture. It just needs to be functional. So I'm taking what I already have and using the restrictions that I have to make a table. And so I want to cut some small strips and I want to laminate them similar to how you would with a cutting board. So I want to make some styles that will go around the legs of her desk. And so that's why I'm trying to cut and rip some thin strips so that I can laminate these together that will serve as the runner or as a style for the desk. I really have to think about how I dimension my lumber because, again, I don't have the table saw or the joiner. So some things that you're going to need in order to do this. You're going to need some clamps. Now I have the Festool quick clamps here, but any clamp that can utilize a dog table or these holes in the MFT will work. It doesn't have to be the Festool ones. You're also going to need a piece of scrap that is thinner than the stock that you're trying to rip. Okay, and it also needs to be nice and square. I've just got this piece of melamine here. I know that it's square. That's going to be our reference to go underneath the guide rail. You're also going to need a measuring tape or some type of a ruler, and that's to set the width of the rip that you want to make on the MFT3. And obviously you're going to need some type of a track saw. I use the Festool TS75, and that's really all the setup that you need in order to make these fine rip cuts. Okay, so let's go ahead and throw 2 minutes on the clock and let's see how to rip thin cuts. The first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to raise the guide rail system to the thickness of our material. So we're going to take our material, we're going to lay it down underneath the guide rail. I've already got the fence loose. I want to tighten it down. Set this catch back down here. So now my fence is set at the thickness of my material. And next we're going to move our fence over so that it is just shy of where my kerf line is on the MFT. And then we're going to tighten that down on the miter lock and on the deflector lock. Next we're going to take our ruler and we're going to line it up with the edge of the kerf that's going to be closest to our guide rail. And I'm going to line it up with the measurement, the distance that I want that stop piece to be, which in this case it's 18 millimeters because I want to rip material that is 18 millimeters thick. And then with our guide stop or that scrap square piece of melamine, I'm going to slide it up along the fence until it touches my ruler or the gap. With our stop piece in place, now we can clamp it down to the MFT. Okay, and now we are ready to position our stock against our positioning block, drop our fence down, and begin ripping thin cuts. Now, one thing that I really like about ripping thin cuts this way is when you keep the material that you want to cut or that you want to keep under the guide rail, you don't have to account for the thickness of the blade. So now that it's set up, I'm going to throw on my safety glasses and ear protection and start making my rips. And now we just slide it over against our stop, push it up against the fence, and get ready for another rep. Well, that's going to do it for me today. I hope you found this video helpful. If it did, make sure you give it a like. If you would like to see more Tooltip Tuesdays about all things Festool, make sure you subscribe. If you have an MFT3 and you do something similar or maybe a little bit different, make sure you let me know about it in the comments below. I'm always looking to learn new things or new ways of doing things. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I will see you next Tuesday.